My name is Caroline Mercer and I'm a ranger with Fix the Fells. Prior to this job I trained as a nurse and for the past 16 years I worked as a Macmillan nurse within the hospital setting. I started volunteering with Fix the Fells. I volunteered for about 10 years and what really attracted me was being outside and constructing things like paths and drains that you could then go back and look at in the future, but also there's a side of helping maintain the landscape as well and helping prevent erosion, making more sustainable paths as well for the future. Projects like this that the BMC, thank you very much, is enabling us to continue with. This is Nesta Falcon crag. It's a bridle way. It was getting very eroded in terms of the width. We were losing lots of vegetation and soil, which then flows into the watercourses and the lakes. So by funding our work as Fix the Fells, it's enabled us to come along and stabilise it. We've worked with the users to look at how they use it so we don't destroy the pleasure that people have of cycling or walking down it. But it just enables us to make these paths more sustainable for the future. It is a very physically demanding job. The most extreme walks we would do is probably for an hour and a half. Carrying everything like your shovel, we use big sort of digging bars and mattocks. The bars themselves can sometimes weigh 5 kilograms, then plus all your food and your water for the day. And when you get to wherever you're working, again the work is physical, so it's not all about stonework. Often it can be about landscaping, so using the earth and surrounding materials to create humps and hollows to try and contain people within paths. So you can move quite probably about a ton of earth a day. And stonework, again, we fill 1 ton bags heli bags of stone to use for pitching. So if you can imagine emptying one of those out before you're starting work with it, then digging the ground to put the stone in place. It's all nicely physical. You often say like landscaping is a bit like extreme garden landscaping on a huge scale on the fell side. You have to be quite resilient to the weather. Particularly, I know the Lake District is famed for it. It is wet, and sometimes you can go out and there'll be water filling the hole that you've just dug, and you're trying to put the stone in and create a drain or a pitching. Meanwhile, your hood's flying off and there's mud dripping everywhere. So that's one side of it. But then again, you end up with days like this, and as you can see from behind, it was raining earlier, but then you get days where it's beautiful, and so that sort of balances those out. I read somewhere someone was saying about, well, the mountains have been eroding for thousands of years, which is perfectly true, and they do keep eroding through natural forces such as the storm effects that we have and the surface runoff. But that erosion is being exacerbated by the footfall and the change in the climate that we have. So that's speeding up the whole erosion process. And if we leave some areas totally untouched, then we end up with great big unsightly scars, meters deep, meters wide, which just become more exacerbated. And once you lose this soil, it's not replaceable, so then you're just down to bare rock. Whereas if we can step in and control that erosion and help it heal by revegetating it, that's what is important about the work of Fix the Fells. It's helping and stopping that erosion getting to the point where there's no return. I worked with the BMC volunteers with Matt, our volunteer lead ranger, and our northern team from Mountaineering Coombe. So again, we were looking at a path that was becoming really eroded, really wide, and we narrowed it down. In fact, I went there last week to look at it, and it's really bedded in really well. It looks absolutely brilliant. I would encourage anybody to maybe try volunteering or come out on like the Friends of the Lake District Fell Care Days. Even without being a Fix the Fells volunteer, you can help Fix the Fells out by, where possible, keeping onto the paths, not dropping any litter, and taking it home with you, and just enjoying the fells. If you're interested and we're out and about, just say hello and ask us what we're up to.